She walked in the door, barely looked at him, gave a quick hug, and went straight to the bedroom. Didn't even say she missed him. That's the moment this guy knew something was seriously wrong. His girlfriend had just come back from a weekend trip with her college friends, and she was a completely different person. Distant, quiet, zoning out. No stories, no photos, no nothing. And when he asked what happened, she just said she needed space. But here's the thing, it gets so much worse. Okay, so to really get why this guy is so freaked out, you have to understand what their relationship was like before this trip. Like normally, she's the kind of person who comes back from grabbing coffee and has 3 stories to tell. Seriously. He says she'd come home from any outing, with a ton of photos and like 10 different funny moments. That's just who she is. She's warm, she's communicative, she shares everything. But when she got back from this lake house trip with her college friends, completely different person. And I mean that, not even exaggerating. She walked in the door and barely made eye contact, gave him this quick, almost awkward hug, and then just went straight to the bedroom to unpack. Didn't say she missed him, didn't ask how his week was, nothing. He's sitting there like, wait, is she mad at me? Did I do something? And here's where it gets weird. He tried to ask her how the trip was, just normal conversation. And she literally said, and I quote, "It was all right." Then immediately changed the topic. No stories about her friends, no funny inside jokes, no photos on her phone. For someone who normally overshares in the best way, that silence was deafening. But it gets worse. She's been zoning out constantly, like he'll be talking to her and she's just somewhere else. Not laughing at things she normally thinks are hilarious, just kind of flat, emotionally flat. He said she feels distant, not angry, just checked out. And then there's the journaling. Now look, journaling isn't a bad thing. He even says she's always been kind of into mindfulness and stuff. But this is new. Like since she came back, she's been writing in this journal constantly. And when he asked if everything was okay, gently, just checking in, she said she was tired and wait for it, processing a lot. Processing a lot, that's it. No elaboration. No, hey, here's what's going on in my head. Just processing, so he tries to press a little more. Not aggressively, just, hey, I'm your boyfriend, we live together, I can tell something's off. And what does she say? She tells him he's being overly clingy. Clingy. He says he's never been called that before in his life. And honestly, that kind of strung. You can hear it in how he writes about it. Now here's the part that would drive anyone crazy. He reaches out to her friends, the ones who were on the trip, just asking, hey, did something happen? Is she okay? And they kind of brush him off, tell him not to worry. Wouldn't it be her place or her job to say? One of them literally says that. So now he's stuck. His girlfriend came back from a trip as a different person. She won't talk to him. She calls him clingy for caring. Her friends are being weird and secretive, and all he knows is that she left as one version of herself. Warm, open, excited to share her life with him, and came back as another. Distant, guarded, journaling like she's hiding something. And here's what's really messing with his head. She's not even mad at him. At least he doesn't think so. It's not like they had a fight before she left. Everything was fine. Good, even. So what the hell happened in just a few days at a lake house to make her shut down like this? That's the question eating him alive. And the worst part, every time he tries to get closer, she pulls further away. He feels like he's being iced out of his own relationship, and he has no idea why. Honestly, at this point, most of us would be going crazy too. You're not overreacting for noticing a change that big. Anyone would. But the real question is, what actually happened on that trip? And why won't anyone tell him the truth? So obviously, the Reddit community had a lot to say about this. And some of the comments, honestly, they're pretty spot on. One person, Unfussy Kitten, said he's definitely not overreacting. But here's what she pointed out. She said if her own partner came back acting that distant and zoned out, her first thought wouldn't be cheating. It'd be trauma. Like, did something bad happen? She said she knows her significant other shuts down when something's upset her, so she'd give it a couple more days, then sit them down and say, hey, I'm worried about you. I'm not upset, but I want to do a mental check-in. You've been distant and zoning out. Is something bothering you? And she made a really good point. She wouldn't even mention the trip. just leave that door open. Either they appreciate the care and open up, or they blow up, and then you know where you stand. Another commenter, Voyg, was more direct. He said, look, something definitely happened. It's suspicious that her friends are saying not to worry when her behavior is clearly concerning. And here's the thing, Op actually responded to that one. He said he's met one of her friends a few times, and she seemed outgoing, fun, joyful. Never struck him as someone who'd do him or his girlfriend wrong. So he was kind of defending them, at least at first. Then there was all about Bird, who took a more patient approach. Said give her space, but within reason. Maybe take a week, do your own thing, hang out with your own friends and hobbies. Then see how she's feeling. If she's still distant, you might have to think about where the relationship is going. Because it's fine to need time to process things on your own, but it's not fair to ice someone out indefinitely. But the comment that really stuck with me, from Effective Pitch 5550, they said, trust your instincts. No one asks for space from a partner if everything is fine. Her calling you clingy is her telling you nicely to bug off. Then they laid out two possibilities. One, something happened that put her in a funk, but they said that's unlikely, because if she's talking to her friends but being distant with you specifically, that's not normal. Two, she cheated. Maybe she feels guilty, but not sorry enough to be honest. Maybe she's second-guessing the whole relationship. And Op responded to that one too. He said he's not ready to bring up the cheating topic. She's always made it clear she values him and their relationship. He said he trusts his instincts, but he also needs to step back a bit. You can almost hear him trying to be reasonable while his gut is screaming at him. So the community was pretty split between give her space and something is seriously wrong here. But the one thing everyone agreed on, he's not overreacting, not even close. And honestly, reading through these comments, you can see him trying to hold onto the version of her he knew before the trip, defending her friends, not wanting to jump to the worst conclusion. But the cracks were already starting to show. And the commenters, they saw it coming way before he did. So what happened next? Well, he finally got her to talk. And let me tell you, the first conversation, it only raised more questions. All right, so here's the first real update. And honestly, it's not what you'd expect. He didn't plan some big confrontation or anything. It just kind of happened. He had actually reached out to one of her friends again, the same one who brushed him off before. And this time she basically said, it's not my place to say. Which, okay, frustrating, but at least she admitted something happened. So he's sitting with that, feeling pretty defeated. And then his girlfriend comes home from work, and she's acting off again, same as before. Barely says hello, doesn't eat the dinner he made, goes for a long walk by herself, then straight to the shower, like a really long shower. And then she just kind of stays in the bedroom, laying there, not engaging with him at all. He notices she hasn't been journaling that day, but honestly at this point, he's just tired, confused, wondering if he's crazy. But here's where he decides to try one more time. He goes into the bedroom calm, not pushing or nagging. Just gently asks if she can please talk to him. Tells her he cares about her and how she feels. Says he's not trying to fight or blame her. He just wants to understand. And he reminds her that they've always shared everything, so keeping him in the dark feels unfair. He promises he'll support her either way, whatever it is. And she just mumbles, says she doesn't know what to say, that she's not really feeling it, that she's tired. Same excuses, so he steps back, goes for a walk, gives her space. And then later that night, something shifts. She starts opening up. Like really opening up. He thinks maybe she just needed time to gather her thoughts. But the way she talks, it's weird. He says he's not going to quote every single word because it feels personal and he's still processing it. But basically, yeah, something happened on that trip. Something way past what would be okay in a relationship. And here's the part that made his stomach drop. She said it went way past the line. Her words. So he's sitting there, heart racing, trying to stay calm. She starts talking about the trip. There was drinking. He knew that, he expected it, encouraged her to have fun even. She's been to raves and parties before, and he's never had a problem with it. He trusts her. But she starts saying that what happened wasn't planned, that it just kind of happened, that she wasn't herself. And right there, that knot in his stomach tightens. because that's what people say when they're about to tell you something really, really bad. He tells her to just say it, that she's already said enough, he deserves to know. So she starts explaining. The trip itself was fine at first. They drank, went to the sauna by the lake, swam, played games. Normal weekend stuff. But later that night, they'd been drinking more, partying, listening to music. Some of them were in the hot tub, some inside playing board games. And then someone suggested a drinking game. Now he says he doesn't have a problem with drinking games, he likes them too. But this one, it involved dares. And at first the dares were innocent. Lame stuff, he calls it. Who's your celebrity crush? What's your darkest secret? Sing a song. Normal, but then they got out of hand. As more drinks were consumed, the dares got more intense. Kissing each other, picking out, well, let's just say more physical dares, pouring drinks into each other's mouths. Stuff that, honestly, sounds like a recipe for disaster. And here's where it gets really uncomfortable. She's talking in circles. She keeps saying it was fun in the moment, that she didn't feel like she did anything wrong, that it was all consensual, that nobody minded. She even says it's normal for girls to do that when they're tipsy, but she also says she doesn't remember everything well, that she had a hangover the next day, that she's not even sure what she participated in. He notices she never explicitly says what she did. She talks around it like she's guilty but won't admit to what. It's confusing, frustrating. Then she brings up one of her friends, let's call her Ellie. He's met Ellie before. She seemed fun, easygoing, not the type to hurt anyone. And he asks his girlfriend if Ellie was there when things happened. Honestly, he wanted to know if he was totally wrong about her. And his girlfriend says that Ellie actually left when things started getting intense. She said she wasn't feeling well and sat it out. Came back later. He doesn't know why she even mentioned Ellie, honestly. It feels like a weird extra detail, but it sticks with him. His girlfriend also says she hasn't talked to any of the girls much after the trip, so now he's sitting there trying to process all of this. She never directly says what she did. She's ashamed, clearly, but she's also defensive, downplaying it. He can't tell. And here's the worst part. She came home and shut him out for days, made him feel crazy for noticing something was wrong, let him twist in the wind while she processed. He doesn't even know what to do now. He told her he needed space, which, yeah, ironic, right? Now he's the one pulling away. He goes for another walk, comes back and just sits in the living room, not looking at her. He loves her. He really does. But he doesn't know if he can look at her the same way again. Not just because of what she maybe did, but because she hid it. Because she made him feel like he was overreacting when he knew something was off. They've set clear boundaries in their relationship, never crossed them before. And now this. He ends this update by saying he's not really looking for advice, just needed to get it out. But you can feel how broken he is. This isn't a guy who wants to break up. This is a guy who's watching his relationship crumble and doesn't know how to stop it. And the thing is, we still don't know the full truth. She's leaving details out. He knows it. We know it. And that missing piece, it's about to change everything. So here it is, the final update. And honestly, it's a lot. He says he's writing this for closure, for himself, and for the people who followed the story. But fair warning, this one hurts. After that first confession, where she gave him all the vague, circling around the truth answers, he knew something was still missing. So he did something that probably took a lot of courage. He reached out to Ellie. Not the friends who brushed him off. Not the ones who said, don't worry about it. Ellie, the one who left the cabin when things got weird. And they talked for hours. Ellie didn't want to at first, but eventually she opened up. And what she told him, it shattered whatever was left of his trust. Here's what Ellie said. 1. The group was drinking heavily, like really heavily. And at some point, some of the girls invited a few guys over who were staying nearby. He had no idea guys were even there. No one mentioned that. 2. Ellie isn't sure if that was the plan all along or if it happened in the moment, but she didn't know about it beforehand. 3. The drinking game got way more intense once the guys showed up. And then 4. This is the part that hit him like a truck. According to Ellie, his girlfriend, his partner of 2 years, the woman he lived with, ended up making out with 2 different people. 2, one of them was a girl. The same girl who told him not to worry and wouldn't give answers when he reached out. And one of them was a guy. There was a lot of touching, Ellie said. Not just playful, not just drunk friends being silly. She made sure to say that, as far as she knows, his girlfriend didn't sleep with anyone. She left and doesn't know what happened after. But it was far past anything he'd ever be okay with. Far past any boundary they'd ever agreed on. And here's what really broke him. Ellie said his girlfriend wasn't even that drunk at that point. Tipsy, sure, maybe having a good time, but not blacked out, not out of control. She was laughing, very involved, didn't seem pressured at all. She wasn't out of it like she tried to make it sound. Ellie left because she was uncomfortable, and when she came back later, his girlfriend was still in full party mode, talking all blurry, a complete mess. So now he has the truth, not from his girlfriend, from someone who was there and had no reason to lie. He calls his ex, because that's what she is now, on the phone. And what does he get? Mumbles, silence, the same avoidance he's been dealing with for days. So he lays it out, says he knows what she did, tells her she could at least admit it before he breaks things off, asks if he ever meant anything to her, if their whole relationship was fake, if it was all just an act. He even asks about her drinking, because she always seemed so mature, so in control. And now he's wondering how long this has been a problem. And she sobs, tells him she can help him understand if he just comes home, that she can make up for it, that even if she did it, even if she still loves him, but he's done. And I gotta be honest with you, reading his words, you can feel how exhausted he is. He says he can't stay in something where he's lied to, gaslit, and made to feel like he's overreacting for noticing something was off. She came home and shut down instead of being honest. She let him stay confused, let him try to comfort her when she should have been the one coming clean the second she walked through the door. He says she should have admitted it as soon as it happened. Not that it would have made it right, but at least it would have been honest. Now here's the part that really got me. He mentions that some people on Reddit sent him hate messages, called him names, told him he was pathetic for how he handled it. Someone even asked for his ex's social media so they could mess with her. And some people just straight up said they didn't believe him. And you can hear how much that got to him. He says he realized it was probably a mistake to post about this online at all, that this will be the last update. He's moving forward. But then he says something that I think is worth paying attention to. He thanks the people who actually cared. And he says, and I'm quoting here, "My heart goes out to everyone who's dealing with anything similar. You're important and you deserve better. Love yourself and know your worth." That's the takeaway. Not the cheating, not the drama, not the betrayal. It's that you deserve someone who doesn't make you feel crazy for caring. Someone who doesn't shut you out and call you clingy when you're just trying to understand. Someone who tells you the truth even when it's hard. He did the right thing, walked away. And honestly, most people don't have that kind of strength, so that's the story. Girlfriend goes on a trip, comes back a different person. Turns out she made out with two people while her friends watched. And instead of being honest, she gaslit him, hid behind journaling and processing, and made him feel like the bad guy for asking questions. Some relationships survive things like this, but not when the trust is gone. And definitely not when the other person won't even own up to what they did. He's moving on, and honestly, good for him. All right, after all that heaviness, here's something lighter. One guy's boss said no drinks at the desk, not even water during a heat wave. So he just left to go drink water. Phones started ringing off the hook, clients were waiting, and suddenly common sense was allowed again. Hypocrites, right? Anyway, if you made it this far, you probably enjoy these Reddit stories. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Seriously, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.